climate summary for this evening. As of 7 p.m., May 31st, 2018. Today's high temperature was 92 degrees. The normal high is 89. The record high is 97 degrees, which was set in 2013. Today's low temperature was 76. The normal low is 73. The record low is 56 degrees, which was set in 1984. No precipitation fell today. Sunset tonight is at 8:21 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow is at 6:34 a.m. The forecast for the Corpus Christi area. Tonight, mostly clear, then becoming partly cloudy late in the evening, then becoming mostly cloudy. Lows in the upper 70s. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Friday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then clearing. Highs in the mid-90s. South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, increasing to southeast 15 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. Friday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-70s. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour in the evening, becoming light. Saturday, mostly cloudy in the morning, then clearing. Highs in the upper 90s. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Ranagorda Bay entrance times. Today, low at 10:41 p.m. Friday, high at 11:41 a.m. Low at 11:18 p.m. Port O'Connor tides. Friday, low at 1:48 a.m. High at 1:40 p.m. Seawater temperature at Port O'Connor is 84 degrees. Port Aransas jetty tides. Today, low at 10:45 p.m. Friday, high at 8:16 a.m. Low at 11:21 p.m. Seawater temperature at Port Aransas is 85 degrees. Seawater temperature at Port Aransas Channel is 82 degrees. Nueces Bay tides. Today, high at 5:01 p.m. Friday, low at 6 a.m. High at 5:25 p.m. Khb41 Channel tides. Today, high at 3:44 p.m. Friday, low at 2:45 a.m. High at 4:08 p.m. Seawater temperature at Khb41 Channel is 84 degrees. Bob Hall Pier tides. Today, low at 10:34 p.m. Friday, high at 7:52 a.m. Low at 11:07 p.m. Seawater temperature at Bob Hall Pier is 84 degrees. Reported seawater temperatures are raw instrument observations and may be missing or become inaccurate under certain conditions. Here is the synopsis for the Middle Texas coastal waters. Light to moderate south to southeast flow will continue through the period. No rain is expected. The marine forecast for the bay waters from Baffin Bay to Port Aransas. Rest of tonight, south winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. Friday, southeast wind 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. Friday night, southeast wind 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. Saturday, south winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. The marine forecast for the bay waters from Port Aransas to Port O'Connor. Rest of tonight, south winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. Friday, south winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. Friday night, south winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. Saturday, south winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bays slightly choppy to occasionally choppy. The marine forecast for the coastal waters of Baffin Bay to Port Aransas out to 20 nautical miles. Small craft should exercise caution. Rest of tonight, south wind 15 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Friday, southeast wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Friday night, southeast wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Saturday, south winds at 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. The marine forecast for the coastal waters of Port Aransas to Matagorda ship channel out to 20 nautical miles. Small craft should exercise caution. Rest of tonight, south wind 15 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Friday, south wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Friday night, south wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Saturday, south wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. The marine forecast for the coastal waters from Baton Bay to the Matagorda ship channel out to 60 nautical miles. Small craft should exercise caution. Rest of tonight, south wind 15 to 20 knots. Seas 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Friday, south wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Friday night, southeast wind around 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. Saturday, south wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet with occasional seas up to 5 feet. The current time is 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Here are the 10 p.m. South Texas weather observations. At Corpus Christi, partly cloudy. Temperature 81 degrees, dew point 78, and the relative humidity 91%. Wind southeast at 15 miles an hour. The pressure 29.83 inches and rising. Across the area, Lady Corpus Christi, mostly cloudy. Temperature 83 degrees. Kingsville, partly cloudy. Temperature 82 degrees. Alice, clear. Temperature 80 degrees. At Brownsville, visibility 10 miles. Temperature was 83 degrees, dew point 79. Wind was southeast at 12 miles an hour. And the pressure was 29.83 inches and rising. Laredo, clear. Temperature 92 degrees. San Antonio, cloudy. Temperature 84 degrees. Victoria, clear. Temperature 79 degrees. At Port Aransas, wind southeast at 19 knots. Seawater temperature 85 degrees. At the buoy 90 nautical miles east of Port Aransas, southeast winds at 60 knots. Seawater temperature was 83 degrees. Waves are 4 feet with a period of 6 seconds. Here is the 10 p.m. Marine Roundup for the coastal bend. The following data are raw and unverified. At New Aces Bay near the mouth of the New Aces River, the water temperature was 85 degrees. Winds were out of the southeast at 50 knots, with gusts as high as 19 knots. At Packery Channel, the air temperature was 82 degrees. The water temperature was 86 degrees. Winds were out of the southeast at 10 knots, with gusts as high as 17 knots. The water level was 0.17 feet above mean sea level. At Bob Hall Pier, the air temperature was 81 degrees. The water temperature was 85 degrees. Winds were out of the southeast at 18 knots, with gusts as high as 21 knots. The water level was 0.60 feet below mean sea level. At Port Aransas Ferry Landing, the air temperature was 81 degrees. The water temperature was 83 degrees. Winds were out of the southeast at 7 knots, with gusts as high as 14 knots. The water level was 0.34 feet below mean sea level. At Bird Island, the air temperature was 81 degrees. The water temperature was 86 degrees. Winds were out of the east at 16 knots, with gusts as high as 19 knots. The water level was 0.25 feet above mean sea level. At Baton Bay, the air temperature was 81 degrees. The water temperature was 86 degrees. Winds were out of the southeast at 15 knots, with gusts as high as 20 knots. The water level was 0.02 feet above mean sea level. At Zeebrugge, the air temperature was 82 degrees. The water temperature was 85 degrees. Winds were out of the east at 12 knots, with gusts as high as 50 knots. The water level was 0.76 feet above mean sea level. At Port O'Connor, the air temperature was 82 degrees. The water temperature was 84 degrees. Winds were out of the southeast at 60 knots, with gusts as high as 19 knots. The water level was 0.10 feet above mean sea level. The forecast for the Corpus Christi area.